Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a chest and tricep day, and this is a ridiculously long vlog. I've been increasing volume, increasing the amount of isolation work I'm doing, and at this point we are legitimately bodybuilding with what we're doing in the training, and it's starting to pay off, as you guys will see as I start to stand up, walk around. Again, my carbs are super low. I've increased my cardio. Yet I'm getting thicker and thicker, and I do everything fasted. So I didn't eat till noon today. So I literally did this 30 set workout and then went and walked for 30 minutes in my 50-pound weight vest. And then I ate breakfast. And I cut it down to 30 minutes a day because I did over an hour the last 2 days for the weekend. And this is kind of an important training day. I do want my arms and triceps and stuff to grow. So again, priorities, even though I'm like, delts are always good. They're always good for aesthetics. I'm at a point where I know that my arms, number one priority. And I feel like to a certain degree, my chest could stand to improve. Although I think it's looking pretty decent at this point today. So you'll see at the different angles, the lighting, because this workout was so long that the sunlight changed during the workout. This workout took me an hour and a half to finish, just because of so many sets. And I decided for the bench to just go light today. I went light on everything. I took the weight down. I'm like, just to accommodate the volume. And I think next week we'll do it more power building. I'm almost leaning in the direction of just doing one top set of flat bench, a heavy set, and then treating it just like I do my other two big three. Right? That's it. That's all the bench I need for barbell bench. Just do one all out set. Put 315 on. Just run with it. And that might be the way that I go. Right? And then everything else can be hypertrophy. I think particularly when I notice the pump I'm getting from the dumbbell work. The pump I'm getting from the dumbbell work, really solid today. Really solid. And I feel like that doing all that for the volume is really a good idea, and that I can still maintain the strength by doing a top set of bench. And I've done that with clients. Like I've had clients who we needed to really thicken them up before, like one of my lighter weight lifters, and we kept him under 180, right? We kept him under 180. He had a massive squat, by the way, like in the over 500 roll. But benching, that's kind of what I did for him. I mean, we did conjugate, but all his other chest work outside of the max work and the speed work was dumbbells. Like we just worked dumbbells from different angles for a while. Had him benching like 325. And for a guy who's like 170 something, that's pretty good. 170 something, natural guy, IPF lifter. But we did that for him. Chest came up a lot. So even though I like my barbell work and I think we need that top set of bench, I think it's always good. I do want to experiment a little more with dumbbell stuff here, more and more, because again, I get a really good pump out of them. And I'm forced to go lighter because they're not the funnest thing to control. Incline was the same way. Like I ran out of steam doing that rep work, so by the time I got to incline, man, I was hoping I would get 10s by dropping down to 205, because you guys see me, routinely get 6-7 reps sometimes with 225. This is 8, and then something like 7. But again, I think the fatigue of the extra cardio, the lower carbs, just is what it is. Some of that's going to accumulate, and then I'm going to have to build back up. But I also think that maybe just doing one set of flat bench, one really heavy set, just like my normal power building, to give me that extra density, because I have that chest density. I feel like it's there. Like we can see certain angles and the lighting hits it. And then do all this other stuff. Because I did 5 chest exercises today. 15 total sets. It's a lot. So we went with dumbbell presses after the incline. I went with flat dumbbell presses. I don't do these that often. Great exercise though, right? Great exercise. And of course, dropping them on the floor. I went over to for the last set, I went over to the, just because I'm having to drop them on the floor. I'm struggling to get these into position, particularly with those, because of the adjustable dumbbells. If they were flat, it would be easy to just roll them down, but those things hurt, so I have to offset them, and it makes it harder to sit back up. So again, kind of wishing that I had a commercial gym type setup for this, because I really like dumbbells. I really do like dumbbells for things like chest. But we do run into problems with the adjustable dumbbells. But then look at that lighting there, that shadow. All right, getting up and down there. Laying back like that. Again, if those were flat, that would be so much easier, right? I could just have them on my legs, kick them up, and I could squeeze them back over easier and roll back down. But you guys will notice they're just hard to get in position. I do it a lot easier on an incline. I do it easier on incline, but with the flat, it's kind of problematic, and I'm learning I've just got to drop them. So, unfortunately, again, nature of the equipment I have. But 3 sets of that. Then we went over to the incline dumbbells. Keeping at this point, we're now 10 sets deep into pressing. We're 10 sets deep. I was feeling it. Like my normal reps, normally I would crank out 12s with this if it was my 3rd exercise, but it being the 4th, definitely felt it. So again, got to get used to these sort of volumes. Got to get used to these sort of volumes because this is where the hypertrophy happens. All right, particularly hard sets where we're getting right up to failure within 1 rep of failure or hitting failure. A lot of these are straight up hitting failure. And then most of the tricep work, straight up failure. But these sets are failure, definitely. But again, notice when I'm getting up and down and you can see me straining a little, how much leaner I look. This is when those cuts really come out, like that would when you're flexing, because it shows that I'm relaxed most of the time. I've had a few people joke and be like, well, you're flexing. No, that's flexed. The rest of it's just relaxed. Because then when you see me actually squeeze stuff, I get all that chest separation and everything. And that's unavoidable. It's under any strain, right? So the whole idea here, though, bring up the whole chest. I obviously want to keep upper chest the primary focus, but I want the whole chest to grow a little further at this point, just with a bias towards upper. And then we want to really, really build my arms. And like I said, biceps, I'm going to put the most work into. I'm gonna do ridiculous amounts of biceps. I'm going to train them hard. I need my worst body part to become my best, and that's the goal. But that's not today. But triceps, pretty high priority right behind them. And then I feel like my chest could stand to improve a little bit. The delts are just going to keep coming up because I'm working now, right? I'm doing all this pushing, pulling. The shoulders have their own day. I feel like at this point in the game, they're progressing. My delts are getting rounder. They're getting bigger pretty visibly. And as I get leaner, they'll probably pop. They'll pop more anyways. So then our final chest exercise, keep in mind that was 12 sets. Then we do the pullovers. And I just do these for sets of 20 at this point with a 55. It's fatiguing enough. This is still a chest exercise, but we know it's a tricep and lat also. So takes my chest volume considerably higher than I normally do, right? But I really like the pullovers. I feel like they add a lot. But at this point, we can definitely say my chest is being hit from a lot of different angles. We have flat barbell and flat dumbbell, incline barbell, incline dumbbell. Then we do the pullovers. We're working every possible angle. A lot of limit sets here. Again, keep the chest growing, but I do want to add next week some heavier benching back in. I feel like it would behoove me. I've been working with rep work with 275, 245 again a couple weeks. I do think throwing 315 back on and doing some reps with it would be good just for the chest density, and then just come in and do all this pump work behind it. Although I'll do incline barbell still pretty heavy, go back up to 225, but all the other stuff is going to all be 10 to 20 reps. These other exercises really just finish out the chest. Pullovers, I'm a big fan though. I like pullovers. I feel like they've done wonders for my shoulder health, right? For my shoulder mobility. They allowed me to start doing pull-ups again after having those previous impingements. So I want to continue to do pullovers, even though they really are an exercise that works multiple muscles. A lot of people feel like, oh, I don't know where to put them in my program. They work fine on a chest and tricep day. Sure, you could do them on a lat day also. I choose not to. So, but I also de-emphasize lats. I feel like we know my lats. My calves are probably my biggest body parts, so I train them, just not to the same degree, whatever. 3-4 sets of calf, I can be done. But I mean, I've got like jacked, ripped calves. Lats, obviously my V-taper. You guys seen enough of it from behind. Back is my best body part behind calves. So, whatever, we do 8-9 really hard sets. A couple different movements, and it's fine, right? Not really a big deal. And then we focus on the stuff that matters, right? But, pullovers do work lats. Great old school exercise. I like them. And I feel like they're a good complement for this day, especially as like a finisher for the chest. Because when I do really high reps, I get a really good pump and burn in my chest. Right? I don't get that same sort of movement I get into that same lengthened position that we get on other movements. But it still gives me a really good pump, and I feel like it's a great tricep exercise. Like I've been asked that, what muscle do I feel the pullover in the most? Definitely triceps. It works my chest, works my lats. But the triceps are what really cramp up sometimes on it. So, again, counting, I guess I want to count it towards triceps. I don't know how to count always my pressing. So if we count all the pressing and pullovers, it's ended up being 30 sets for triceps today. If we don't count any of it, it's 15 sets. So, my volumes are ridiculous, and most of the tricep work was failure. Right? The majority of it, over half the sets were to failure. And I didn't even upload all of them. It just got too long. Right, I uploaded my primary movement, and then I only uploaded 3 sets and then 2 sets of the other stuff. So we only put 12 sets up. So, people could argue I could be lying that I really didn't do 15. I only did 12. And that's unfortunately the fact. If you don't upload it to the internet, did you really do it? It begs the question. But I do say that to people who, they say, well, this person trained this way. I'm like, do they upload all their footage? So you take their word for it. Yeah, you take their word for it. So I think it's fair to say if I want to trim 5 sets out to keep my vlog under 20 minutes, we can do that. We can do that. But these, I started losing reps. By the 7th set, really by that 2nd or 3rd, like the first 2 sets, I got my 15 or so, and then it started cutting out. And that's when I could tell all that pressing fatigue was catching up. And then the final sets, because I did like 7 sets of these, I did 7. They started getting down to 12 reps. Normally, I've done 3 sets of 16 pretty easily on this movement with this weight. So again, this goes to show how much I've fatigued. Because they were failure. A lot of those, like, what did you just do because you held back because of the volume? No, I reached muscle failure. Like some of them, you can tell, I get there to the bottom and then it sticks. See, that one slowed. But then some of the others, it actually sticks. It slows like that. Then I try to do one more and it just sticks at the bottom. All right, it just sticks at the bottom. But notice even then, the chest, when I finish a lot of these sets and stand back up there, you can see those striations even through that upper chest walking towards the camera. So it's all getting denser. It's getting harder. We're tightening up. Obviously, the waistline still needs to tighten up the most. I have the loose skin still from losing over 100 pounds, but as I get leaner, it does get tighter. So that's going to be, for me, a really high priority. I'm almost tired of talking in the vlog at this point. I may just say, look, we did 7 sets of these, and you'll see some sets of 20 on skull crushers and a couple sets of band press downs. So we worked the triceps from 3 angles, not even counting any of the chest exercises, which all works triceps. Okay. All in all, super high volume, super productive day. I'm kind of tired after all this because I did all this and I did cardio. And I ate a ton of protein. I've already had at least 150 grams of protein for the day, probably close to 200, on lower carbs. So that protein can hit me a little hard sometimes. So I almost feel like going to taking a nap. So you guys can watch the last bit of the tricep work. So I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.